Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the next episode of the Deep Dive on Final Fantasy XIII. We're here broadcasting on Twitch because I'm not sure whether YouTube Live or Twitch is better to actually as a streaming service, so we're figuring it out, and you can let me know what you think. Now, if you come directly from last episode, we are a little bit farther forward than we were last time. I climbed to the top of Taijin's tower and defeated the boss up there. It's an interesting dungeon and all, but not particularly interesting as far as this stream is concerned, because it doesn't really do anything that isn't also done well outside of this place and in other areas. Like most parts of the game, it's an interesting dungeon, it's good exploration aspects, and I didn't really have anything unique to say about it, so I stopped here just before we're heading off to Erba, and the story starts to kick back into gear. We've come back down to Pulse because, well, honestly, everyone decided to run away from their responsibilities, and now, well, here's our last shot at trying to find a way to survive without actually fulfilling our focus. Now, not included in a lot of these streams were a lot of those short little bits of character development, small bits of text of mostly functional information, and it's kind of unfortunate that it's not the best use of time as far as character development is concerned, because you can't really get a lot of information about what a character is and is not when they're like, oh yes, we have to move on to this next location, everyone on the rolling sphere of death. Which is more of a problem with the video game medium as a whole than other mediums, is the amount of time that has to be dedicated to actually teaching the player what they need to do. Movies don't really have to worry about that. Books don't really have to teach you how to read them. But video games have to tell you what to do. And now, as I've said in a lot of these areas like this, change from one scene to another, like we went from the super tall tower to what is now essentially desolate wasteland, and the music in the background, everything looks quite incredible in this transition from the tower to here. And the first enemy here is this Seath, so if you've been paying attention to the storyline, you know exactly what is awaiting us on the other side of this hill, and it's not going to be a pretty sight. And as a result of all my time spent on Pulse, I did do all the side quests that I was able to do without farming, the stuff that you expected to be able to do without having to come back here. And so my characters are very strong, because the game actually does sort of rely on you actually deciding to... Oh, can I get a dodge? Nope. But he is cursed, so we just stun lock him. Oh, this is going to be bad. Everyone's dazed. Easy peasy. And it's good balance that they make it so that you can do all of the side quests on your way from the Ashas Mashif all the way here on your first time round, such that when you do come back, you can get right into come back to Pulse, you can get right into the hard, grindy stuff that marks a lot of Final Fantasy endgames. All of the challenges that pushes the battle system to the limit. And this game does do a very good job of doing that. I'm not going to have time to show you much of the endgame here because of the amount of grinding it takes to get here. I might not even have time to do that, but the endgame in Final Fantasy XIII is actually very good at making you push the system to its limits, of making you develop your characters in a way that is not just leveling them up and getting them good gear. You have to figure out what you're doing with your paradigms and how to get a system of paradigms that works to defeat not just every boss, but each boss individually. You need to be able to think about what paradigms you need in order to defeat this particular boss. And they do a really good job of making the bosses very difficult in their own unique way. They don't just simply make them they're all difficult in unique ways, and it's a very rewarding endgame as a result of that. Ooh, sorry, I need to get this. Ah, fine. I need to upgrade. I need to get that warp point. I don't want to have to walk back here like a normal person. Ouch. Could we please kill the flying boy first? Thank you. Ow. There we go. Oh boy. Please debuff. Oh, Vanille's just standing around. That's no good. It is... Oh, this is gonna hurt. Okay. Good enough.
Thanks.
Jerk. Don't target Vanille like that. Oh, this is gonna go poorly if she gets smacked. Oh, nice. We were all out of range of that. Lucky. So, this gives us a... Now that we're in the middle of Erba, it's something we've seen a little bit. Yes. And you can get a little bit of storyline in the quest here, of course. That the town of Erba was already destroyed before the last of the people seems to have left. But you can see, much like... More so than in a lot of the other cities, like, how advanced the city was and how it's all been gone to ruins at this point. And it's all because of the Fal'Cie, because of the way that they've been giving focuses to the people.
Which is your house?
And that's apparent if you did do all the side quests.
What do you mean, which is ours? All of them. They're all ours.
Yep, everyone in the village lived together.
One big happy family?
One heck of a lot of places to hang your hat.
And apparently that windmill is still working. Defying some sort of logic. I'd imagine it requires some amount of maintenance to make those windmills keep working. Is that a sign of just some extraordinary ingenuity from the Pulse peoples? Or is it just a sign of the writers not really knowing how machines work? Who knows?
So, do you want to take a look around?
We'd better. Gotta find something to help us lose these brands.
That's not the only reason we're here. You're finally home. Make the most of it.
Oh yeah, we can examine this sign. Well, thank you for that macabre reminder help text. We're trying not to feel depressed here. Oh, the old resident of this place. Hey, don't mind us. We just want to come here. Oh, can we even? Take him out. Oh, that hurts. Don't let him do that. Oh, this is gonna hurt. This is an interesting enemy design. It's completely immune to physical attacks and highly resistant to magic attacks before it's staggered. But once it's staggered, it becomes vulnerable to physical attacks. And that's just encouraging you to look at resistances as they come by. What do we got here? Oh, that's a shame. The only reason to clear this room is to really be depressed at the workshop. Come on, game. We're trying to... We just came from the happy-go-lucky Arkilled Steppe here. We're trying not to be a huge downer, are we? Oh, please don't. Okay, I guess we're fighting these guys. Alright, and now we get to see... Oh, yeah, that's good. Why I like building lightning this way. Oh, is my rune gonna get wrecked? Please, tank. Oh boy, that hurt. Okay. That was dangerous, but we got through it. Alright. Back to exploring this desolate and haunting wasteland full of enemies. And meet an old friend. Where's there it is, keeps running around the corner. Nope, that's not it. Oh, here we go.
Bhakti!
Friend of yours?
Yeah. You're okay. I was worried. Huh?
So it likely hasn't been all that long
He's not ready for the scrap heap just yet.
since Pulse
Yeah,
abandoned,
nothing I can't fix.
or Pulse got completely destroyed.
Us down some parts.
Given that there's still some machinery that works. And Erba, which I imagine was... Yeah, we have to find the replacement parts within Erba. Yeah, and given that Erba was one of the more advanced cities, it was probably one of the last to fall. And likely is a good sign of exactly when Pulse ran out of human inhabitants. Ah, now I gotta fight this guy again, and at least the parts are labeled on the map. That's a mercy that they gave us, that we don't have to hunt this stuff down. Oh, you have. So, yeah, we'll stay you pretty well. This is gonna hurt. So please switch. Oh boy, that hurt. Ow. Jeez. Alright, smack it up, Fang. Your only hope. Oh, that hurts so much. Alright. Heat it up. No, don't do that again. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Oh, yeah, it was poisoned. We're fine. Its HP decreases by a set amount every second with poison. One of the only Final Fantasies wherein poison is a really, really good status effect. In a lot of the other Final Fantasies, it just doesn't do enough for it to be worthwhile. Or if it's like Final Fantasy X, yeah. Or if by comparison it's like Final Fantasy X, where poison is really, really strong, doing a quarter of your max HP every time you take a turn. But in that game, everything that is wherein that amount of damage would be relevant is completely immune to poison. Right now, they never get to take another turn because they're just gonna get juggled by the Ruinga. Haha. No, thank you. Gosh, it's a big shame that I don't get the, it's very difficult to get that 6th ATB bar, so you can't do the double ruin goes with ease. I don't feel like it anymore. Go away. Huh. Imagine they'd be way more labeled if we have to find 3 more. Oh. This one's labeled in red. At least we got the jump on him. This'll be easy. Oh yeah, no wailing for you. Done and done. Right, so some of them aren't labeled, some of them are just certain enemies we have to defeat. That's fun. That makes things fun for us. I say more sarcastically than I actually mean. It's a problem with... not even like a really big problem. It's a disappointing part of modern video games that they just label everything and all things on the map, so that really what you're doing is staring at the minimap in the top corner and navigating your little token around it in order to find where you're going. Rather than say... oh boy. Rather than say, actually looking at the screen, the environment, and looking at all the things that are going along. Easy. Explode! Now the reason I have Feng as a sentinel for this... oh boy, please don't die. I have Feng as a sentinel there is because you get bonus ATB generation when you hit things with a status ailment when you get later in the game. And being provoked counts as a status ailment, and it's the easiest way to just pop a status ailment on every single enemy. Because provoke is just a really strong way of ticking that, and provoke counts as a debuff, so... that combined with Lightning's ATB bar increasing sword, ooh, the Giant's Glove, plus the enhanced ATB rate generally allows you to just spam that ruin go, which is really fun. And this is the part of the game where those, when you start going down those builds, is you start seeing that success. You start seeing your dedication to, in this case, like a very, a build that doesn't do, it's one of the weakest weapons you have access to, and it's hard to level it up. But when you stick to it, when you dedicate yourself to it, it becomes very strong. And this is part of the game where the game opens up and you start to see the advantages of having made that choice. This is gonna hurt. At least those Chonchons die super fast.
Thank you.
Oh, it's gonna hurt. Please no. Ow. Alright, this is dangerous. Fang is in a lot of trouble if she gets targeted. Okay, Fang didn't get targeted.
Thanks.
Stop running. I want to beat you up. No, don't do that. Ah. Nope. Ah, what a shame. Oh, don't die, Vanille. Good. That's fine. Ah, come on, Fang. I trusted you. Oh, well, the poison will get you. Fang doesn't first. Alright. One more part left, and it's probably not labeled on the map. My, thank you for the speculation. Getting a bit of Final Fantasy XIII 2 flashbacks, of course. This is no surprise. This area features prominently in Final Fantasy XIII 2. One of the better sequels to a video game, actually. And I will probably at one point dedicate a deep dive episode to Final Fantasy XIII 2, specifically to talk about the music in that game.
Remember, even though no one's here.
Nice. We got some guns for a character I don't like to use. Because though the music in a lot of Final Fantasy games are exceptional and worth commenting on for their own sake, where do you think that it's probably somewhere in this schoolhouse here. Wait, I was just in the schoolhouse. Probably somewhere over here. No thank you. No thank you. Bye. Although the music in many Final Fantasy games is worth mentioning and noteworthy in its own respect, Final Fantasy XIII 2 not only continued that tradition of having exceptional music, it actually integrated it into the gameplay, into the setting, into the feel of the game in a way that I haven't seen done almost ever. I don't think any video game has done with music quite what Final Fantasy XIII 2 did, which bled musical genres and interlaced the music into the way that into enhancing the setting in such a way. Because essentially, the short version of what Final Fantasy XIII 2 does is it changes the music based on what's happening on screen in real time. And it's hard to explain more without getting into a lot of details and actually playing it for you, but if you like video games that have good music, if you like... I can repair Bhakti! Yay! If you like paying attention to music and it's a big draw to why you play video games, Final Fantasy XIII 2 is definitely worth checking out for that alone. Now we run back to Bhakti. Excuse me, pardon me. Fang, hello, I'm trying to... God. NPCs in Final Fantasy XV actually respond to you trying to run through them. Which, if you watched the Last Play series on Final Fantasy XV, you'll know that we got endless enjoyment out of. Oh, this way. And one small thing about sound effects in this game is, the one thing that you hear a lot, and actually I've heard a couple of people make fun of, though it is done really well, lightning's footfalls are a constant sound effect here, and they're prominent, and they actually do help with the immersion because the game is actually tracking the sound and making believable sound effects for all of these footsteps. You can tell when we move from sand to rock that her footsteps change immediately, and a lot of care was taken place just to make sure that the sounds of her feet are congruent with what she's stepping on the world map. And I can't imagine how difficult it was to program the engine to account for this, because it happens the moment the foot makes contact with the region. It doesn't seem to be centered around her model, which means that it's actually some amount of the game's processing and development was put into watching Lightning's feet and where they make contact with the ground and making sound effects to respond to that. And I think that's an incredible attention to detail that's worth commending, because it does make it a lot more immersive.
Thank goodness.
Whew, you're a lifesaver, Saz.
Nah, it was just a quick tune-up. Don't mention it.
Nice, we saved Bhakti. Side quest giver extraordinaire. Hey, give me some side quests. Ooh, Ooh, good. I forgot how good this little robot was. Yes, thank you, Bhakti. Keep giving me more advice. I forget about most of the stuff that you've told me. So, yeah, Bhakti gives you more rewards based on your progress through completing side quests and getting trophies. A lot of the trophies in this game you only get after talking to Bhakti, and as you saw, getting the Pulsing Pioneer one. You only get certain trophies after talking to Bhakti and confirming your progress, and he gives you really good rewards for having completed those side quests. And actually helps you uncover some of the game's secrets, like the idea that a certain mission unlocks different Ordises, which is actually really helpful because the Adamantes are hard enough to start with, but when you actually do that secret mission, which basically it's basically a mission that's like, hey, you should kill one of these Ortises for mission purposes, and then it upgrades all of the ones in the world to be even stronger. And give stronger rewards, of course. Ironically, though, the first time I played through this game and 100%ed it, I didn't upgrade the Ortoses until I was, like, well done with the game. Just because of the order I did things, when if I had actually gone through the effort to upgrade them, it would have made farming them for money much, much quicker than it actually was. Oh, this is going to be bad. These guys hurt a lot when they act. Please no. Oh, that hurts so much. Oh, only one of them exploded. Good. Yeah, juggle. No, thank you. Oh, they keep getting hits off. I'm not going fast enough. Okay, just you left. Oh, we'll just auto chain. Oh, this is gonna hurt. Yeah, that's about right. Please no. Please no. Aha, take that. At least that daze doesn't last forever. It's not as strong as it is in Final Fantasy XIII-3, where daze is how you break the damage limit on particular enemies. If you can daze them with perfect timing, you can actually wreck their everything. In this game, daze is a lot toned down. It still has the same effect of that it stuns you, so you can't do actions. Your ATB stops for its duration, and if you're hit during it, the daze effect vanishes, and it usually doesn't last very long to begin with. By contrast, it also makes you take, I don't even know if it does in this game, makes you take slightly more damage when you get that hit that brings you out of the daze. But in Final Fantasy XIII-3, the hit that breaks you out of the daze does about like 2 to 3 times more damage than normal, which in a game about doing multiple hits, for the most part, doesn't really translate to a major difference. Unless, of course, you're in a very specific situation where you're doing a super powerful hit at the end of to mark a unit becoming staggered. Mixing those together, and bam, you go beyond breaking the damage limit. But those kind of strategies are for different stream. Gosh, they really want you to understand that this is a sad tiding, and because usually, and it's a bit of good game design here, because usually when you get seeing things to examine, when those prompts pop up, that you get gear and stuff to oh, this is a bad start. Usually to get gear and stuff, so you're like incentivized to actually seek them out, to look for them and try to find them whenever they appear. But here they can use that tendency they develop in you to their advantage in order to make you find these story elements, because you sort of see those prompts to like investigate, and you're like, oh, I should investigate this. There might be something cool, and there is something cool. There's story stuff you get to find, but in this they use it to really drive home the fact that this is not a cool place to be. Hey, thanks. Stop trying to hit it with your stick. They're weak to magic. There we go. You figured it out. And that's a good thing to keep in mind. This is an example of it done well when a game is teaching you to do a certain thing and expects you to do a certain thing, especially when it's for reasons of progress or for finding gear or those kind of things that are traditional, those things that traditionally are used to motivate people, and then using that to drive story elements forward. Especially in a situation like this when it's something new and it's something that you really want to make sure your audience sees. Get wrecked. Get that dude protect out. Ow, Jesus. Ouchie. Don't let him put that barrier up. Okay, yeah, we're fine. No, thank you. Oh, the taming pole. Oh, I forgot about that weapon. That's a good weapon, isn't it? Yeah, it's a stagger lock weapon. Very strong. Very good to put on the person that you're not really expecting to stagger them to begin with. But since I'm doing a lot of the equipment customization off screen, you won't. And I'm probably done for the most part, as you can tell. As I go through the equipment, everything's basically starred and good to go. And probably enough, it's probably of a quality that I can actually beat the game with. So I'm not really going to be too concerned about developing it more, but I might, near the end, sort of let's give a bit of an overview about sort of the ups and downs of the equipment modification here. One of the big ups is that a lot of the times with the equipment customization, it's asking you to compare incomparables. Like for lightning, I chose a weapon that increases the ATB gauge rather than one that deals more damage or one that improves healing. And these choices, like, there's no clear best option, which means that the choice you make is just a reflection of what you want that character to do out of personal preference rather than of an idea of min-maxing. And a lot of the equipment choices in this game are based around that. And of course, you can just equip the accessory that improves your strength by 150, but a lot of enemies also are extremely resistant to physical damage, so you want to balance strength and magic in almost every case. And so you can dedicate all of your accessories to doing that, but there's also some really good accessories that just reduce the amount of damage you take or make you immune to certain status effects, which if you know a boss is going to do that and is giving you trouble with that, you can swap in and out to advance. And then of course you get your synergy bonuses for equipping different making different accessories of the same general bonus. You get combination bonuses, which is really cool. It's a trap. Notice how she's all sparkly.
For you to open your eyes. All the time I was asleep, I knew what was happening. I kept trying to think up a way to save Cocoon. Together.
Sarah?
Oh, still recognized as a trap.
You get it now. There are no gods with miracles to save us. No matter where you look. That's why we have to call one. Destroy Orphan. We'll save the world. Stop it! You can't do that. You love me too much. You do, don't you, Claire?
Plot twist.
Enough already.
Lightning has a name that's not Lightning.
Listen up. We are all shooting.
And her name is Claire Farron. Which is a little bit of a bilingual pun that her name is Lightning, essentially.
Is this? You son of a...
Don't use your Jedi mind tricks on me. Oh, too bad, Snow. How's that brand looking, by the way?
You betray your fal'Cie to chase after dreams and shadows. The world you claim to wish to protect now faces the end of days, with no hope of salvation.
I didn't think fal'Cie had the means.
Oh, it won't be fal'Cie who destroy her. For centuries now, Cocoon has provided generously for its human inhabitants every want and need. Coddled them, one might even say. The result being their deep-seated fear and hatred of change and all things alien.
All fears that we developed.
And ready to detonate at the slightest spark. The seeds of destruction take root, even now.
What did you do to Cocoon?
I resigned, appointing Reigns as Primarch in my stead.
Reigns? He's alive?
The puppet is restrung to serve my needs, yes. Its eyes had long since turned to glass. Of course, the cavalry's eyes will see our friend as nothing more than a traitor to their cause. They'll say the fal'Cie got to him too, or some such drivel. And imagine, when I spread word that it's Orphan tugging at his strings, what happens next?
You're gonna use the cavalry to take the thing out?
Perhaps. Or perhaps I'll feign the howling of Pulsian wolves and let the fear-addled sheep slaughter themselves first. Either way, the end is at
So this is a bit of bad storytelling.
But what of your
There's Botanalist is talking about a lot of things that happened while people were gone. But the better thing to do would have been to show the audience that this was happening, and then have Bartandalus tell everyone about it. Because then it's more Bartandalus telling you a thing that... telling the party thing that you already know, rather than Bartandalus expositioning a bunch of crap at the last minute. Come on. It's something that, to be honest, Final Fantasy games are pretty bad at to begin with. Okay, can you stop laser beaming me? I would really like to not be laser beamed anymore. You can still be impaled. Can you? Yeah, there we go. Oh, did that change your resistances? Nope, okay. I don't think she has jeopardized yet. Fortunate. Okay. Right, are you not weak to anything? Good. Please stop blowing me up. I'd really appreciate it if you didn't. And smite! Boom! Max damage. What I like to see. Till, of course, we get them Genji gloves to break the max damage. Oh no, please don't poison us all. Aha! Nobody gets poisoned. Oh, wait, no, everyone got poisoned. My bad. Does Fang have Deep Protect and D-Shell? Oh, good. You can help me out with. You can help her out with this. Not too concerned about. Oh boy. Riska's bad. Alright. Making me actually move debuffs. Jerk. Just want to beat you up without having to switch to the defense. Is that too much to ask? Is that really too much to ask? Don't daze us, man. Oh, that hurts. Alright, now we time this. Here we go. Scourge! Do I get another one? Yes! Double Scourge! Alright. That went well. You immune to status effects yet? Nope. Come on, that's so rude. Yeah, that's about right. Please no. Oh yeah, that's something that you can point out now. As you noticed, she just shouted out Bartandalus during this fight, and the way that like those little combat shouts, those little things that characters say in the middle of combat, actually changes based on story progression and where you are, and it's actually a really important thing that it does change so that characters don't seem static. Oh boy. So the characters don't seem static throughout the entirety of the game, and their character development actually reflects on this part of their character as much as all the others. Ah, you get rid of your debuffs, eh? Come on, debuff him before it's over. Oh, this is bad. Oh, this is bad. Ooh! Vanille survives! Well, what do you know? Come on, man. Just want to do stuff without being constantly debuffed. This is where anti-curse equipment would be super handy. So I could do this without having to deal with all of this crap. Gosh, Bartandalus, could you give me like a second or two to actually push the offense? Gosh. This is why diversity is one of the greatest paradigms in the game, because it actually allows you to mix offense and defense in the same paradigm, which you don't get a whole bunch of. Nah, don't curse God. Oh, we just gotta deal with being cursed, honestly. It's pain, but like, there's not really any way around it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's about right. Aha, I'm not cursed anymore. Jerk. Alright, get that scourge going. 1, 2! Ah, that hurts, doesn't it? Uh-oh. Ow, 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 ow. That's about right.
Thanks.
Yes, good. Wipe all your debuffs right before I'm about to put them back up. Haha! Nerd. Come on, man. Let me put some debuffs on you. It'd be real nice. It'd be really pleasant if you just let me do this. Oh, good. Now everyone's cursed. It really doesn't mix well with the fact that he's constantly shooting laser beams at us. Could you not? Ugh. What a pain. They really do not make the Bartandalus bosses easy to deal with. There we go. Don't everyone get dazed? Everyone got dazed. Okay, this is bad. Come on, man.
Thanks.
Vanille's barely keeping up with us. Get those debuffs right back on. Aha! Nerd, I just refreshed all— oh boy, that hurts. Save me! Save me! I'm not gonna get that double scourge off. Is Fang dead? Maybe. Nope, we're sticking into this somehow. I'm not quite sure how, but we're staying alive. Ow, ow, ow. Oh, I started casting Pain and Fog. Come on, man. As if this wasn't hard enough. But, I think we're gonna do it by staying in this paradigm and not switching. Just kidding. Relentless Assault! Come on, he's so close. Don't let him laser beam you to death. There we go. Well done, everyone. Battle was supposedly supposed to take 16 minutes. Whew. We did it! Congratulations! On a job well done. Well, turns out Bartandalus wasn't even trying.
Time has come. Allow me to extend my invitation. To save a people beyond salvation, there is only Ragnarok.
More good design. Only doing that transformation in shadow so you don't have to actually animate it. That's not even good game design, that's just smart animation.
Release her from the pain.
Because it's like very obvious what's happening and saves you a bunch in the animation budget not having to figure out how an owl turns into an airship. Because honestly, I wouldn't want to try and animate that. I wouldn't want to try and figure out, like, functionally how this transformer thing turns into that. I would really just want to stick around and not worry about it. Ooh, what's this? Why is this one giving us a cutscene?
So, this is the end of the rainbow, huh? Well, here's hoping the pot's full of tips on dealing with crackpot Fal'Cie.
You know, I don't remember this being here before. I guess it's new, huh?
Yeah, must be. I suppose it might be a record of what happened. You know, after we turned to Crystal.
No, that's Final Fantasy XIII 2, where we collect memory spheres that help us see the past. Nope, turns out it's this too.
Cocoon, where the slaves of Lindsay dwell, is the enemy of all life fostered by Pulse's sacred hand.
Oh, it turns out both sides were
So our Fal'Cie
like a Cold War.
determined Pulse's will, chose l'Cie, and gave them a focus. Become Ragnarok and bring about the end of Cocoon. And so the beast arose, defeated Lindsay's hateful Fal'Cie, and prepared to tear Cocoon apart. But her providence betrayed our Lassie, draining Ragnarok of strength. Their focus only half complete, the Lassie were taken to the enemy's land by Bartandalus, curse his name.
Those the sea, of course,
And the
being Fang and
goddess.
Vanille.
Lassie who rest upon Cocoon will reawaken, however long they may wait. And Ragnarok will rise again, to tear the land from its seat in the sky. Her word is absolute.
Guess the jig is up.
Cocoon's done for, isn't it?
Yeah, you don't sweat it. If we go ahead and smash Cocoon, you know some makers sure to roll up and save the day.
As long as Fal'Cie are around, this fight is never gonna end.
Now you're starting to
So
figure
let's
it out.
Finish it. Let's get Daisley.
So what do we do about Orphan?
We help Orphan. What else can we do? If we can manage to keep it safe,
Another war breaks out somewhere down the road. We're Lassie. It's not like we can make people stop fighting.
Goof missing from the scene is the airship in the background.
Lightning, you told me on Cocoon. It's not a question of can or can't. We just do it.
Like Yoda
That's
says,
our only choice this time.
there is no try, only do.
Maybe it won't do much. Maybe only one person will listen to us. But even then, isn't trying better than doing nothing?
Because ripples can make waves!
Okay, kids have gone crazy.
revolutionaries always get cold crazy.
So do failed revolutionaries, but
When I was on Cocoon, I wished on those fireworks. I wished to not let anything happen to Cocoon this time.
let.
But I shouldn't have wished for that. Wishes aren't enough. Prayers either. This time I'm making a promise. I will keep Cocoon safe. I promise. No matter what.
Don't tell that to the Thoughts and Prayers town.
Everything to make
Prayers
it
aren't
you
enough.
have to fight for. Huh.
And we're the only ones who can do it, right?
Right.
All right then. Let's tie up loose ends.
Okay.
Let's head towards the end of the
Right.
game.
Yeah.
But the Crystarium's expanded now, so we get our limit breaks. Yes. How far do I have to go in order to get it? Oh, there it is. Not very. Oh, it's so expensive. There it is, Army of One. The only one that matters at this point in the game, honestly. But we probably should level up because, boy, do these levels actually make a huge difference. Like, look how much stats you get every time you level up. You really drive home the fact that you really got to develop your characters. And this is actually part of the reasons why the Crystarium system works so well, is that you get to see firsthand how much your character is developing. Oh, Kira. There we go. And you do get to make fast forwards like this, where I... Alright, where's... You need to learn High Wind. Is... Oh, they're way up there. Alright, fine. It's worth it. Oh, especially with all the strength between here and there. Oh boy, that's a lot of CP to learn that. Gosh. Nope. Oh, you didn't quite get your Saboteur there, did ya? Almost did, though. Alright, fast forward. How far away is death? Oh boy, it's also quite a ways. Will you even get to it? Oh, maybe. 16. There it is. And now we can kill those adamantuses with the cheese strategy, which is basically just knock them to the ground by summoning a unit and then spamming death until they die. And if they don't actually die from death, you retry the fight and do it all over again. It works more times than it doesn't. But it does take, you know, 3 TP in order to succeed. So you can't do it all that much, but it's a fast way to get those lovely,
Shadows.
I can't even remember,
Minds were made up.
platinum ingots that you sell for a bunch of money? I can't remember what they actually drop.
Realized along the way that choice was the only thing we had left.
Theming. Can you actually make choices? Yes, you can.
Maybe we'd fall short. Maybe we'd never even come close. But someone, someday, would know we'd tried.
And that's basically them deciding what to make of that. Even if it seems that you don't have a choice, it's often worth the effort in making the right choice, even if you don't know that it will succeed. Because often choices are basically between these 1 or 2 guaranteed things. When you only think about what are your easy solutions, you'll often railroad yourself into making 2 equally bad choices, but sometimes you just gotta gamble on hope. Instrument of Faith is the trophy we earn here, which is actually good that these trophies are tying into the themes of the game. Alright, chapter 12.
Your Eminence,
See, this is the kind of scene that should have happened while we were on Pulse.
people await your address.
So that we would have got a sense of what was happening while we were screwing around doing nothing down there. Rather than having
So, we greet the new dawn.
Bartandalus monologue at us about all of this stuff. That way we as the audience feel more informed, even though the characters aren't. And that's an important bit of storytelling. Your capacity to show people things that the characters don't know. That creation of dramatic tension by having this difference between what the audience knows versus what the characters know.
Welcome the dawn of the day on which we decide our fate. Many are the lessons we have learned during our long night of hardship.
And now one of the best cutscenes in Final Fantasy games.
Choices which must be made as our hearts dictate and not abandoned to uncaring chance. Let us forge ahead with unflinching courage and honor the fallen with action. With these
In this,
hands, we shape the future.
more theming. Can you shape the future? Do you have the capacity to make choices? In this weird universe where rallying political speeches open a race of some sort. Don't think about it. Here we go. We've come to join the race. Us and all of our strange vehicles. Except for Hope, his is stationary.
Close call. And the hero saves the day. Probably should have covered that.
Good job, Snow. We're in thinking.
Intruders on the race circuit. Confirm possible safety. All units respond with lethal force.
Oh no, there's a kid on the racetrack. Haha, stomped.
Oh, I think we have a winner.
From the storytelling, not understanding physics of when something is partially interrupted during motion, it goes faster than the thing it was trying to catch up to. It's a very weird thing that happens a lot in chases, where something starts crashing and actually catches up to the thing it was going the same speed as. as if colliding with an obstacle increases your relative speed. It's just very bad physics that is mostly chase sequences get away with it. Gosh. Probably doesn't have enough TP to summon all of these things. But this scene actually does a good job of explaining how much of a ruckus they cause as a result of their l'Cie powers, essentially. And, like, it's all very colorful and bright, and the action is, for the most part, easy to tell what's going on, and avoids the trap that was happening at this time of video game development, where everything was all gray and dark and gloomy and terrible. This was bright and colorful. Oh no, I gotta do lightning strike. Ah, gosh, it's not enough. There we go. Build that stagger gauge. Come on. Just barely. I might not even get this super kill on him. Because of course they make you use lightnings, whose summon is actually the worst. Nice. Didn't even die. Now we actually have to engage you. Capable of temporary invulnerability. Then they messed up with all my paradigms. How dare you? Ooh, someone's about to get shot, and it's us. That hurt. Discretion? What kind of paradigm are you trying to pull on us? Ah, he's still invulnerable? Oh, I'm the commander in Relentless Assault? Why would you do something like that? Why? Oh boy, it's probably better if I just retry. I actually beat him with the summon. Get that stagger up. Oh, please don't send me all the way down to Grand Pulse. Okay, no, send me back here. Thank you. Gosh. Do I care enough to level up Snow? Nah, I really don't. Oh gosh. I almost missed with that. Oh yeah, that builds up your stagger gauge real nice. Go. There. Just finish him off. Actually doing the fight right. And dead.
Until next time.
Thank you. Nice, 26,000 free points. And now I get to experiment with that army of one, and can actually talk a little bit how limit breaks work. So, I call them limit breaks. I'm not really sure what to call them. They're basically character-specific abilities, as you saw when I leveled up. Lightning got army of one. Nice. Fang has high wind, and Vanille has death. Oh, Adamantises! Oh no! And how it works is they take your full ATB in order to use, and each of them is situational. They have effects that are very good in the situation where they're supposed to be used in, and very bad if they're used recklessly. For example, the best example of this is Fang's High Wind, which is an extremely powerful attack that resets the target's stagger gauge. But the amount of damage it does is by far among higher than anything you could possibly do. You saw me in Bartanalis doing that double Scourge for like really good damage. Fang's High Wind does more, and it doesn't even rely on perfect timing. And so how you do Fang's High Wind is, when they're staggered and their stagger gauge is about to end and about to recover, you just High Wind and then pop them for a crap ton of damage. It resets the stagger gauge, but it was going to reset anyways. Oop, plot's happening. Anyways, but of course, since if you use Fang's High Wind at a bad time, it just resets the stagger gauge without doing that much damage. Gosh, all this political intrigue that doesn't really mean a whole bunch to us because Reigns barely had time on screen. And makes this seem a lot like a plotline that would have meant a lot more and might have actually been cut from final development. Just it's this huge that should have been a super important death scene, but it doesn't really matter because we only saw Reigns like 3 times throughout the game. And so if they wanted that to mean anything, they should have developed Reign as a character more.
There's more to it than that. They're saying Eden is crawling with post-nasties.
Fresh off the ark, I'd wager.
This is out of control. What'll happen to Cocoon?
It's all out war.
Did we cause this by coming back? Bartanalis' prediction. It's all coming true.
No, it's not a prediction, it was a threat.
Stops right here. We're the ones who decide what happens next.
Theming!
Let's get moving.
Right.
Okay.
They can't railroad you into making a decision you don't want to make. Why would you do this to me, game? Why? Why? Give me Fang back. Ah! Making me do this all over again. At least I have a pretty good idea of what these actually are. There, assassination Delta, we're good. Alright, back onto the limit break discussion. Lightning's limit break Army of One is a Ravager ability that doesn't do... It does a decent amount of damage, especially more so because it's a very long animation. And so it takes the full ATB bar, and it takes a long time for it to execute. But if you switch to a commando halfway through, it actually does a decent amount of damage. Probably not more than just spamming the attack command, but its secondary effect is that as it's triggering, it vastly increases the stagger gauge of already staggered targets. Which makes very good if something like a behemoth that staggers at a really low percentage, and so you're still not doing a whole lot of damage when it's staggered. Use Army of One, and that massively increases the stagger bar, so they just start taking a lot more damage by the time it ends. And of course it has diminishing returns because the higher their stagger gauge, the better it is to simply just do more damage with their attacks. And have the stagger increase as a secondary effect rather than to focus in as a major effect. So these creatures would be a good example of something that you would use Army of One on, because when they're staggered, they're only taking 2.5, 3 times more damage. But they're also a bad example because their HP is so low that they're just going to be dead by the time you get anything like that off the ground. Fun side note, the first time I played this game, the PS3 I was playing on actually just died right around this part of the game. The CD drive had stopped spinning, which was indicative of a lot of... It was happening to... Oh boy. It was happening to a lot of PS3s that were the cheap PS3s they released right after everyone was complaining that the PS3 was too expensive. So the basically the second generation of PS3 started to die around the time this game was released, and mine died basically in the middle of this part of the game, and I had to quickly salvage all my save files, transfer to the new PS3, and because I was really worried that I'd have to start the game over, and it's always really bad to lose a save file late into any game. JRPGs even more so because of how long it takes to actually, of just how much there is. Even when you rush through the cutscenes and stuff, they're long games. They pride themselves on having play times in the 30 to 60 hour range that they tell a full story that's worth. Ooh, that's the Lionheart. That's one of your best weapons, isn't it? Yep, Quick Stagger. It's one of Lightning's best weapons. But since I'm not really interested in advancing, I'll probably never take it up. Goodbye, gentle mech knight thing. The final weapons in this game are very interesting because they're all the same type, they all look the same, and they have the same name, but their stats are based on which weapon you upgrade to get to the final weapon. So everyone's final weapon is basically the final evolved form of whatever weapon you take up. And so if you choose, a weapon that just has really high strength, then your final weapon will just be a final weapon with a bunch of strength added to it. But it'll also have like the ATB charge thing that I have in my weapon, or it'll have that quick stagger effect. And so its bonus abilities and its stats vary based on what weapon you're using, which is just smart. It's just smart game design that all weapons you upgrade eventually become the ultimate weapon. Because that way, no choice you make is the straight wrong choice. There's no, you have to upgrade this weapon to get your final best weapon. And so the idea of a best weapon is relatively relative. It's subjective what your best weapon is, because it depends on how you want that character to play out. Gosh, those gravity bombs are so interesting. Because that really, that's the kind of thing where they actually thought about the physics of how they worked. The way that her falling caused the other ones to shoot into the air. Which implies that it's redirecting force.
That's how they get around on Cocoon.
That's how light gets around.
And there's thought into the physics of how that works, and it shows in, I guess in this as a secondary effect this would happen. So they show you that this interesting secondary effect happens, so you can actually get an example of how it actually functions. And that's just good sci-fi writing. Instead of explaining directly how something works, think about some of the ramifications that come from its use and ways that it goes wrong. And then show that on screen. Show those things going wrong happen so that people can be like, wow, that's really interesting. Like I just did right there. Ah, nothing back here. Alright, I'm coming through. Don't try to stop me. They're trying to stop me. Ow, stop shooting me. It's really impolite. I'm gonna have to do this. Boom. Everyone explode. Oh yeah, one of the other bonuses of the chain gauging proving when it hit people, it actually counts when enemies and you hit the ground in battle. You actually take a very small amount of damage, and that damage procs for all of these abilities that improve your ATB gauge. And so Ruinga knocking them up and causing them to take the 10 points of damage on the hit the ground actually translates it to ATB gauge increases for me. And it's just a really cool side effect. And whether or not it's intentional remains to be seen. And oh, this isn't going to work. Alright, we're going to have to actually kill these clowns. Ah, boy. Plays powerful ice-based attacks. You're probably resistant to Blizzard. Ah, no vulnerabilities. Give me them vulnerabilities.
Thanks.
And don't let Fang die. It'd be unpleasant if Fang died. Yeah, weak to fire.
Steady now.
Actually, let's just do this. Yeah, watch those debuffs fly. Oh man, fog and pain. GG. I really should switch to the assassination more often because Faga and Panga are actually really good at not dying. No, thank you. Oh, well, I guess it's happening. No, thank you. Please stop war crying. I do not like it. I do not like it. Oh, come on. Why aren't all of them getting knocked up? I say completely unironically. Wait, don't I have arrow? Yes, I do. Launch them all into the air. What are they weak to? Ice and water. Alright, fine. And let's do it. Watch that stagger gauge fly up. And then we switch to aggression halfway through and start doing twice as much damage. Super good. Really like that ability. Coming through. Don't worry about me. Oh, that blew up.
Stay sharp! Move! Through here! Station secure! Cavalry, stand down! Eden's under our jurisdiction.
Coming in with an invasion and a civil war, it's just a bad day for Cocoon. All because Bartandalus decided that no one deserves to, aw, geez, come on, to have a good day. He does have weakness? Not that I know of. No. Ooh, fog and pain happening. Good job. Alright, let's build that stagger gauge. Yeah, look at that. It goes up like... No, don't repeat that. It goes up like 200% with one use of it. It's so strong. Okay. Ow. Did that just ping Vanille for a whole bunch? It sure did. Take it out. Targeting boost. Oh boy. Didn't even see that. Also, why does this thing have no debuffs? Not even immune to a lot of things. Ow, Jesus. Don't let it shoot me like that. There we go. Oh yeah, just gonna need this to get staggered. And then we switch to aggression. Look at the damage fly. Not really all that much actually, but you know. Look, it's that huge stagger. Yeah, suddenly it's at 550% additional damage taken. Ah. And that's one of the good things this game actually does. It gives you new stuff to do, new tools to work with, even when we're basically approaching the end of the game. Those limit breaks were just unlocked when I beat Bartandalus there, and they really changed the way you think about using your ATB. And that's a really good thing that the game does to keep things interesting. It doesn't run out of new things to give you within the first hour of the game. It's constantly introducing new mechanics and new elements for you to work into the combat system. And it's a sign of a well-made combat system that there is enough of those small things they can add to it in order to make it more interesting.
If it's close to the Fal'Cie Eden,
They don't run out of ideas
Right.
from day one.
Destroy it. Bad things are gonna happen. So long, Cocoon.
Then we better get
I mean, you compare that to a lot of JRPGs, which really don't give you new abilities a lot of the time. I think... Yeah. And some, other than this, like, the way that JRPGs often do it is just giving you a constantly upgrading slate of abilities there. You get a combat ability that's just the one you're using before, but this time it's stronger. This one, your basic attack and rune commands and like the basic commands you're doing are still the same, but it just introduces slight variations in it to make it just a little bit more interesting. Why did you block the lightning? Weak to water? Oh, resistant to arrow. Jeez, okay. I have a feeling you're weak to water. Aha! You just slashed at nothing, you jerk. Alright. Oh yeah, you're definitely weak to water. That's doing a lot of damage. Don't get hurt. That hurts. God, Combat Clinic, once Lightning gets Cura, is just the greatest paradigm ever. Just Cura, Cura, Cura. Oh, no, don't let it do it. I did it. That's just bad timing that you pushed its phase when Fang was on the ground. It wasn't able to beat him up. Ooh, got dazed for like a half second because he's constantly being attacked. Oh, it's weak to fire and blizzard too. Probably because of that imperil, honestly. Just can't get double weak to things, unfortunately. Gosh, that hurts. Yeah, your stagger resistance goes way up too. Oh, Vanille just died. Oh, I almost died. I could have gone poorly. I could have gone real poorly. Hey, look at that, more pulse people. People used in a terrible context. What the? Okay. You know, I can kind of get why that person's there. It's just like, oh, it's an average person, just not really sure what's going on. But, like, clearly this is not the time to be walking around with a mope on your face. Like, there are giant Sahagins just all over the place. There's no way you can see these and go like, yeah, this is a safe place for me to mope. Uh-oh, they're not getting knocked into the air. That means to be able to perform actions and stuff. Weak to lightning. Oh boy. They're just spreading out. That's not what I like to see. Zap, 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 zap! Yes, they're standing together now, so I can go zap, zap! Come on. Can we actually get some debuffs going? Yeah, increase that stagger gauge. Alright, up you go. Ah, that one lost its stagger. What are we doing with our lives? And zap, zap. Thank you very much. How poorly did we do there? Still pretty good, apparently. Alright, I do not want to fight these things and a behemoth, so I'm... Oh boy, oh they saw me. Oh, they're... Oh, this is happening. Okay, this is all very, very bad. Yeah, it's about right. Yeah, Sloga, that's super helpful. Keep doing stuff like that. Oh, they're doing stuff. I really like it if you stopped doing stuff. Oh, I'm dazed. Oh, this is bad. Oh, they're pecking the crap out of me. Okay, that's enough of this. Yeah. Stagger all of them. Oh, some are getting staggered now. We're not going to stagger the Behemoth King, unfortunately. And let's just Thunderfall. Not getting hit by this Thunderfall. Yeah, there we go. Just keep doing this. Up we go again. And up we go. And we press triangle. Please tell me 2 of them died. Really like to see that 2 of them died. Ow, that hurts. Okay, 2 of them died. Oh, you gotta dispel them first, mates. He's got Veil up. No, you just don't care. You just don't care. There we go. Actually get rid of the debuffs before you try to do anything to him. Especially the one that makes it harder to debuff him. See? Look how much easier that was. When we all work together, the world's a better place. Except for this little guy. What are you weak to again? No, nothing particular. Alright. He's probably going to turn into a big stabby boy pretty soon. Oh, maybe not. Oh, you super died. That's the wrong paradigm. Alright. And he didn't turn into a big standing boy. Well, isn't that pleasant? Doesn't that make my job so much easier? Alright, no more of that, please. I feel like this hallway is just a bit too long and a bit of an empty space. They could have done a lot more. This is basically right up to the end. There shouldn't be that much silence in between. Like, they didn't need that much distance between the two things where nothing really happened. No, oh, come on! I wanted to not fight you. Didn't you see me trying to not fight you? Have I fought? I fought one of you before, haven't I? Yeah, you're weak to lightning and wind. That's not very fair. And you're also resistant to magical attacks. Wasn't that just annoying? Spark. Oh, I don't have wind strike, of course. Go. Come on, stagger this one. Yeah, see. In situations like this, there's really no point using Army of One because it's already at 500%. So just stabbing it is just going to do enough damage and build its stagger gauge enough that it's worthwhile to not really worry about it. If it had a lot of stagger resistance, of course, it would pay off in the end, depending on how much life they have, of course. And how much you've extended the stagger gauge, but I believe I have to go back and give Jeopardize to Bang so that she extends the duration of the stagger when she hits staggered opponents. Super important. Just open up with the war cry. What are y'all weak to? Yeah, take that. Ooh, that one got debuffed like crazy. This one did not. Ooh, that hurts. Where'd that 33,000 come from? Soldiers with their dogs. Dodge. Ah, nope, couldn't dodge. Oh yeah, blow them up. Then heal everyone. Look at that. HP flies back up. And then we switch. I'm just gonna use this on a single target, aren't I? Yep. Take it out, take it out. This one can't even attack because it got pain and fogged. Isn't that just the best? Weak to fire. Whew. Who needs strategy when all I do is switch to 2 commandos and blow them up? Alright, jumping over the barricade. Hurrah! Nice. Oh, that's a big boy. Hello, big boy. You're not gonna let me open that chest until I beat you up. Ow. I believe it was weak to water there. It's really hard to tell with all this damage going out. The game doesn't do a very good job of giving you immediate feedback on such things. Yeah, please get it with that slow. Ah, there we go. Really helpful. Okay. It may not be cursed, but it's got all the debuffs we need. And ow. Ow. Oh, you missed. Well, what do you know? Alright, take it out. Now it's taking 6 times damage from attacks. You're not taking it out. Ooh, that hurts. That really hurts. Hello, what's in here? Weapons for characters. Which is good that they include all the good weapons like games, so it actually incentivizes you to switch to them when you've already upgraded it. But reaching a point where really all I have to do now is move forward through the city, so here's where I'm going to end this episode of the Deep Dive. Thank you for joining me, and when we come back will probably be the last episode of the Deep Dive as I make all my way to the end of the game and probably finish through the last boss, so stay tuned for that, and until next time, have a good night.